What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel as we dive into episode 26 of What's on the Pegs, everybody's favorite weekend video, as it were. Of course, if you're new to the channel or new to this video series, I thank you for stopping by. What's on the Pegs is essentially my toy hunt videos. What I'm finding out there when I'm hitting the streets, when I'm hitting all the different toy stores, which I do hit a lot of different toy stores, from your classics like Walmart and Target to, smaller independent vintage toy shops all over the place. Anywhere I'm at, or if I'm ever traveling, I always try to hit different places. Always a lot of fun, so I do appreciate you guys checking it out. As I said, this is episode 26 for What's on the Peg. So I've been doing this for quite a bit now, and it's always interesting to see stuff. And at times I'll see something I'm like, man, I don't need that, but I really like it. And this is a great example. The Ben Cooper kids. Initially, I was like, I don't need these. But the more I see them, the more I want them. I mean, obviously, we've seen the DC Comics versions. Here we got a monster, and we got Krampus, Krampus is perfect for the, really for the Halloween season and the Christmas season. Kind of falls into both. But I'm like, man, those are so cool. And I'm seeing now, like, we have Predator and Michael Myers, Art the Clown. The more I see them, the more fun they are. So I'm kind of a little bit regretful I didn't dive in, but NECA's so expensive. And these come out 5 or 6 a wave, $20 a pop. I'm like, man, I just can't dive into that. They're fun, but they're kind of, to me, it's fun to admire from afar. And I think sometimes that's what you have to do with these things. But the Ben Cooper kids, popping up everywhere, Walmart, Target, pretty easy to spot if you're into them. So definitely a lot of fun. This line, I think I posted it in the video last week, or it might have been the week before, Ninjambi? I can't hardly say that, which that's not good for your brand if people can't pronounce it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. This is a vehicle, of course. I saw about 4 or 5 of these. They look like almost like slimy type figures. Pretty big scale from what I saw. They had them at Target. This is, of course, at my local Walmart. But this is the Prime Slime Dragon, I guess, some type of vehicle. And then, of course, we saw the pictures as well, which was, the figures as well, which is, we got Sword Lord and a couple of different characters. As you can see, probably 3 or 4 different ones in this display. They have their own display. I believe they come with a comic book included, so that is kind of fun. I don't know. It's hard for me to dive into something I don't know a lot about, unless there's like a built-in fandom. And I feel like stuff like this, if it doesn't just fly off the shelves, it may not be successful. But when I see stuff like this, I'm always interested. I'm like, I wonder if this is going to do well. So I always watch it because I'm curious, like, are people into this? Is this something that I just don't know about, but other kids do? I don't know. So let me know if you've seen it, because I've definitely seen it at Walmart and Target, but I haven't seen them fly off the shelves yet either, so I guess time will tell. And then we have a big deluxe version, and kind of this guy might be the villain, I don't know. Again, kind of cool, different for what they are, but, again, it's just more unique stuff there for the Ninjambi line, I don't know, however you say that. But I mentioned the Ben Cooper kids. I saw these as well. I mentioned Michael Myers. We have the monster again, but Pennywise, another really fun one. Like I said, these are great. These are so much fun. And then if you I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but there's a Joker actually down below as well. So I think I'm a completionist at heart, or like a one of every character. That's always how I've collected. And this line's gone so long now, I feel like it would be hard to do that because there's so many of them, and a lot of them have sold out. But I'd love to get like the horror ones, but then how do you leave out the DC comic ones? They have Ninja Turtles coming out. It's so much. It'd be hard to get them all, so that's kind of why I've opted not to collect this line, as cool as it is. Agent Venom. I have this figure. I've had it for a minute, but this was a really cool one to see re-released because I always thought Agent Venom was a great character. I remember him, probably around 2012, they did a line called Thunderbolts, or a new version of Thunderbolts, and Agent Venom was in it. Of course, Flash Thompson, one of the bullies from the original Spider-Man. Cool, super cool character. I don't remember him having the alternate head before, so this figure is definitely an upgrade from what we've seen in the past. And I know there's a Magic the Gathering Agent Anti-Venom that's also popping up, so you could get both of those. I remember that one being a GameStop exclusive back in the day, and I stupidly sold it, so I'm going to have to pick that one up. Of course, it comes with that Magic the Gathering card, which I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I may have to try to sell that or something, I don't know. Not a Magic the Gathering fan, so I guess I'm hearing you can sell those for big money, but I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I was at a random Target. I was looking for the new McFarlane Ninja Turtles, and I saw Snakeface from the Origins line. I'm like, what? Like, this has been out like several years. As you can see, it's on clearance, but it kind of blew my mind that it was still out, and like, people were, it was still on the pegs. I was like, whoa, that's a way old figure. So sometimes it's worth hitting those Targets. I live where I live. I have about 5 Targets within driving distance, and I hit 4 of them regularly. One of them I don't hit because it's not really by anything else, and it's way out of the way. I mean, it's driving distance, but it's just in a far direction, so I tend to not hit it. But this day I was like, I'm gonna hit it because I really want these new turtles, which I did end up finding, luckily. But I found Snakeface. I'm like, wow, what are the odds of that? So yeah, you never know. While I was there, I also ran back into the Superman, or is it the new Superman movie? Is it just called Superman? I don't remember. Superman, Man of Steel, or something like that. But the new Superman Superpowers. I didn't like this concept of putting a movie line in the Superpowers line. I mean, I guess it's a way to get Mr. Terrific, but I'm like, no, Superpowers needs to be its own thing. I've always been a big believer in that. I think DC Multiverse makes sense because it's the multiverse. You can do movies, comics, everything, and people can pick and choose. Superpowers, or much like the Super Friends line, it kind of needs to be like all in one. Like, the 66 Batman figures can go along with the Super Friends, but they're not the same line. And to me, that's important. But maybe overthinking it a bit here, but that's just my opinion. So, of course, 50% off. Looks like they're on clearance. I don't think these moved super well. I think the Superpowers started off hot, but then they became really hard to find, and I think people lost interest. And then so many re-releases. After a while, it's like, okay, I'm tired of Batman. Give us new characters. And those were kind of few and far between, unfortunately. The Gray Ghost from Batman the Animated Series. This thing was going for some pretty big money on eBay. I think like 60, 70 bucks. And then it just started turning up everywhere. So I've seen it like 3 times. I've kind of bowed out of the Batman the Animated Series line. I still have a couple more to unbox, which I will. But I'm like, I don't really know if I need these anymore. The line just it was a little expensive. The figures weren't the greatest, and I ultimately I was ready to move past it. And but seeing the Gray Ghost was kind of cool. I'd like to see him in another line. I've always liked the Gray Ghost. I thought that was a really fun episode of Batman the Animated Series, and had the voice of Adam West, which is kind of cool. A little nod to 66 Batman, which I always appreciate, a little nod to a classic cartoon or something, or TV show. Toonie Terrors. I don't really collect these anymore, but these are always a lot of fun. We got Pretty Woman, Leatherface. We got Pennywise. Some of the older ones. These are usually pretty easy to find, I feel like, and I know they've done a lot of cool ones. I know they've done like John Carver from Thanksgiving, which is a newer horror film. They've done Elvira, Beetlejuice. They've recently done the Universal Monsters. They've actually done a couple of DC ones. I know they've done the Joker and Superman, so these are pretty cool. Again, it's just, you can't collect everything, and that's just kind of where I fall with these. I'm like, ugh, it's cool, but so much. It's hard to get it all. Some new Star Wars, the Black Series. I go hot and cold with Star Wars. I love these figures. I think they're great. Like that Sand Trooper is really, really a fun figure. But it's just not something I collect all the time. They're cool, and it's just one of those things where I knew when I got into that I was just going to be a pick and choose. A fun-looking character, a character I knew. Like, I picked up Tobias Beckett because he was played by Woody Harrelson. I'm like, oh, I need a Woody Harrelson figure. I got Greef Karga from The Mandalorian because it was played by, what's his name? Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers. So I had to buy it. It's Carl Weathers. So that's kind of how I go with that. But, again, that's what collecting is about. If it's a little, like Kyle Peterson calls it, an ancillary collection, that's kind of what Star Wars is for me. I pick up ones that I like. I don't buy everything, but I have fun with it, and pick up stuff that's cool. Like the Halloween ones are great. The Christmas ones are great. Those I'll buy, but I don't also rush out to the stores to get them. I get them when I can. And then kind of wrapping up this week, going a little faster than normal, but I think that's okay. We got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Godzilla line. What do you guys think about this? This was a crossover I was not expecting. We got Leonardo as Godzilla. I've since seen the rest of them, but I think there's 3 of them total. But I know Travis was kind of into this. He thought that was kind of a fun idea. It is fun. It's unique, though. I think the problem with something like this, I don't feel like it goes with anything. I would like to see if they're in scale with the other Godzilla figures. If that's the case, I could be like, okay, you can kind of mix those in there. But does it make sense to have a Leonardo Godzilla? I don't know. You're asking a lot of your fan base, I think, with some of this stuff. So it is what it is. It is cool, but I can't say it's for me. But it was, I mean, I was like seeing new stuff on the peg, so it didn't bother me. I was just like, okay, that is interesting. Again, I was looking for the McFarlane Turtles at this point, and that's not what I was finding. I was finding this. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's funny when you're looking for something, that it's never what you find. You're just like, okay, come on, give me something. And this is what I'm finding. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But that pretty much wraps up this edition of What's on the Pegs. Of course, let me know what you're finding out there on your toy hunts. Drop them in the comments down below, or you can Instagram me, tweet me, whatever the kids are calling it these days at TB Toycast. Check that out as well. Of course, check out my unboxing videos. I'm doing 3 unboxing videos every single week. This week was a pretty solid week of videos. On Monday, I unboxed the Mattel WWE Elite 2-pack of Rowdy Roddy Piper versus Mr. T from their epic boxing match at WrestleMania 2. Super, super fun. On Wednesday, I unboxed Fresh Monkey Fiction's Operation Monster Force Sleepwalker Heavy Weapons Division. Read that 5 times fast. My gosh. And then, of course, on Friday, I went back to the world of Toy Biz with the Marvel Legends Punisher. I love the Toy Biz figures. Unapologetically love them. I had them back in the day. It was the first line I collected outside of wrestling for many years, so I love those. Will always be a big fan of those. So check that out. Of course, check out other editions of What's on the Pegs dropping every Saturday. And Tales of the Toy Box, Episode 5 is still available. All about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Series 1. I need to get on Episode 6. That will be happening soon. I have to figure out what I'm going to do it on. But that will be happening sooner rather than later. So look for that as well. Of course, check out the TB Toycast podcast dropping every Thursday. It's our flagship show. We have a different main event of a different specific toy line from the past, typically, as well as all the news and happenings in the toy world that particular week. Always a lot of fun. And then, of course, check us out on TikTok at TB Toycast, so showing all kinds of old toys on there, which is always a good time. Thank you all very much for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel and What's on the Pegs, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot.